Bismillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ba'd. Brothers and sisters, I want to touch on an expression from the wisdom of our elders. That expression being, you can't win today's game with yesterday's score. Now, for those whom Allah Ta'ala has blessed with sound intellect, then as soon as you hear this particular expression, you clearly see what it means. Now, this is one of those expressions that we find some of our elders saying that is very profound as it relates to how a person moves throughout life. So the expression likens the person and likens aspects of life to a game. You could, for lack of better examples, you could say a basketball game. And today's game isn't like yesterday's game. You may have won yesterday's game. The shooters that you had on the court, the playbook that you used, and that's for someone that caused you to accumulate a score that made you victorious in yesterday's game. But now today is a new game. There's a new game. You're playing against a new team. These are different players. And now, because this circumstance is different, it's the same game as basketball, but you're dealing with a different opponent, a different rival. So yesterday's playbook may not be applicable for today's game. And you can't come into today's game with the scores that you accumulated yesterday. So the scores that you accumulated yesterday, the means to acquiring the score was as a result of how you played the game yesterday. Who was the starting lineup and who remained on the bench and that you bought out in the third or fourth quarter that had energy. And thus forth and so on. And so sometimes in life, things can be like that. You may be doing something a certain way as it relates to whatever hobbies or habits or goals that you have. And there comes to a point where you have to adapt to a new situation, a new circumstance, because you may not be able to go further as it relates to whatever goals that you have for yourself. So you have to switch up the game, or you have to switch up your game plan. Why? Because yesterday's game plan that got you victory from that particular game isn't applicable today. It isn't applicable today. And us as Muslims that are striving to win the ultimate game, a game of life, by getting to returning to Allah Ta'ala and being successful in the afterlife, we have to look at the world in these terms of adapting to different circumstances that will be fruitful for the ultimate goal and or journey that we have, and that is paradise. So that may mean sometimes that, okay, this team member may have to be cut. This way that this method or this means that I'm using in order to accomplish a particular goal that will bring me closer to Allah's mercy isn't applicable in this circumstance, and thus forth and so on. And so that's the point of the phrase, you can't win today's game with yesterday's scores. And Allah Ta'ala knows best. Waffaqana Allahu wa iyyakum. Assalamu alaikum.